Namaste, good morning. It's lovely to connect with you today. My name is Leanne Peters. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook, and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And there's really strong healing or intense energy coming up over this last 12 hours or so, especially. So I'm inspired to be here and create a bit of a spontaneous healing event. Namaste, Stephanie. Lovely to see you. In yesterday's guidance, if you saw the video, we had the card Tree Maiden come up for Sunday, which brings a sense of potency, a sense of intensity, and certainly feeling that right from midnight. And plus we had the full moon, didn't we, which was extremely intense. This is a really potent time. We've also shifted months. Well, for me, it's the 1st of April already. May not be for you yet, but it won't be far away. So it's like all of these streams are meeting. All of these really intense things, that these really intense energies are meeting now. It's like, it's like all these water-filled streams from lots of rain have come down from the mountains and have now met in this one big stream that's preparing to stream out to sea. And there's a lot of what I'm feeling, a lot of mental energy that's really tangling stuff up and making things seem bigger and louder than what they really are. This sense of overthinking, of being pulled into the past and pulled into the potential of the future, and really disconnecting from how we feel seems to be quite strong right now. So I'm here to create a space of healing and support. I'm going to be smudging in just a minute. I've got one of my drums here, so I'm going to be drumming. And I'm also going to be working with my healing energy cards here to see, just to get some more information about things, about what's going on for us personally. So if you're in a bit of a struggling space right now, if you're feeling a bit off or a bit overwhelmed, confused, or just dealing with the intensity that's going on, then I trust that you feel something or receive something helpful from our time together today. If you're feeling good, then great. Just take some deep breaths and work with this energy to hold that space. I've noticed over this last 12 hours, don't tend to be one to make excuses, and I don't tend to be one to avoid issues. But I've noticed in this last 12 hours that if something that I'm really avoiding is making me throw up all these types of excuses and reasons why I'm avoiding this thing that's coming up, that's been triggered. So these are sort of new feelings for me, or new issues, because I don't usually run into I can't do this because of this, and finding all the excuses under the sun. So I'm finding it really interesting currently to explore avoidance and why we might be avoiding things. What is that avoidance covering up? What are we scared about? What are we resisting that is potentially coming? And why are we getting worked up about something that might happen or might not happen in a way that our mind is concocting? So very interesting lessons and things that are arriving from these various streams that are all meeting now in this boiling pot, if you like, or this turbulent water that a lot of us have kind of moved into. So I feel I might use this smudge stick to begin with. I've got a new lighter here, and I'm not the world's expert when it comes to using these things, but I've got success. So just take a nice deep breath and allow this to be what it needs to be for you. If anything does arise, or has been arising, or has been triggered in this last couple of days, just let yourself be honest about it. so that you can let it move. The more we avoid or deny or make excuses for or try and run away from something, the louder it's going to become. So let's sit in this space and be really open and raw and vulnerable and feel fragile or whatever it is that we feel, so that we can honestly move through these turbulent waters. So if you can't stay the whole time, then please come back and connect with the replay later if you want to. Okay, let's take a nice deep, really cleansing breath. Allow this breath that you take, these breaths, to really purge and pull out all of that old stuff that's been coming to the surface. Allow yourself to let go and surrender. So your mind might feel like it's in a certain mindset or in a certain way. How you feel may be feeling different to what's going on in your mind. So I've noticed this morning, these last couple of hours, that it's been really important for me to differentiate. But I don't use that word often, do I? I write it probably, but I don't really say it. So I'm not going to say it again. Of course, now I've got to go back. You know, it's the last couple of hours have been really important to work out the differences, the different feelings, the different sensations, the different energies between how we feel and what's going on in our mind, because they're very different. So we're really being guided right now to use this purging time with the smudge stick. This is sage smudge stick, to really clear out our thoughts and the overwhelming, heavy, intense thoughts that we may be thinking right now, and really slip into how we feel and slip into our heart. Now, to me, as I was working out the difference between my mind and how I feel right now, just an hour ago, or a short time ago, just to give you an example, as I tuned into what's going on in my mind, I felt my mind overthinking, making things seem worse than what they seem to be, and getting too far ahead of myself, and also thinking way too back in the past of stuff that's just not important right now. So that's what I was feeling in my mind or connecting with. And then when I disconnected or detached from that and slipped into how do I feel right now, I felt, and I still do feel quite like this, I feel quite fragile and quite vulnerable, and quite raw inside is how I feel. And then I expanded that. How does my body feel right now? My body actually feels quite good. And then detaching from that, how do I feel spiritually right now? I feel in some ways spiritually disconnected. I feel occupied with what's going on in my mind. So as I tune into those slight, subtle differences in myself, I can work out what's out of balance and what needs to be shifted. So there's a strong mental energy around, perhaps for you as well, and we're really being guided to stop feeding that with so much attention and really get perspective by tuning in to how we feel. Whether it is, you may be feeling raw and fragile and vulnerable like I am. You may be feeling intensely angry or frustrated right now. They're still feelings, and it's okay. So let's now focus on this the smudging time, and really think about breathing out and purging that heaviness that's taking place in our mind, and really look at detaching from our mind's occupation and occupying our space right now, and slipping into our heart and how we feel. So I'm not going to talk. I'm going to take 3 big breaths and really work on detaching from my mind and slipping into how I feel. So please join me if you're inspired to. And knowing that whatever's been triggered for us, issue-wise or mentally, that it's not forever. This is just a temporary turbulence, if you like. And that as we slip into how we feel and be really honest with ourselves and face whatever's been triggered honestly and with an open, fragile heart perhaps, then we're going to move on. So, I'll just put out this smudge stick. The energy is actually building quite strongly, especially as we focus, if that's been important for you, but as we focus on clearing, as we focus on detaching from our mind's antics, our minds making things worse and louder and more dramatic than what they really are. So just keep remembering to take some deep breaths, especially if you're going through an intense time yourself. And keep saying "and" with a weird accent, or it's weird to me. And let's allow things to come to the surface that are presented, that might be presented during our time together. Take some deep breaths if anything uncomfortable comes to the surface, and be willing to let go. So I'm going to pull a healing energy card around what we're currently dealing with now. What do we need to know now in this moment that we're connecting? And this is for the majority of us. So, and I'm going to be drumming around whatever this is. So take a nice deep breath and feel the love and the support coming in around you and wrapping around your shoulders like a beautiful, comfortable, soft, loving blanket. Okay, let's go with this card here. Thank you. It's the healing guide. Yeah, if you don't like this space, you can just unlike the page. You're the one that pressed like, perhaps. I certainly don't bring people into the group. This is something that you've pressed like on at some point. So if you don't like it, just unlike, unfollow. It's really quite easy. If it keeps coming up for you, perhaps one of your friends likes my stuff. So you can block it if it's that bad for you. So just letting you know if this is not something you want to connect with. Just leave with love and have a great day. So our healing energy card for now is Healing Guide. This is interesting. I find this quite interesting with what I was talking about, with these rivers like converging and this turbulent waters, as these waters and these rivers meet as they prepare now to go out to sea. There's a lot of energy shifting in the throat and the heart as well. But I'm going to read this and then talk a bit more about this. This is so appropriate. It says, open to the flow of love. In other words, let love in. We may be feeling a bit closed off to love right now, or to support, or to receiving love that other people want to give us. So let's open to the flow of love. Allow it to guide you, or us, with everything. So this is highlighted as well, what we've just done, which is detach from that strong mental state that's really wanting to take over right now, and slip into our heart and how we feel, and allow that to guide us with everything right now. It says healing, inner beauty. Some of us may be feeling a bit low in ourselves, a low self-worth right now. Opening in the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakras. This talks about going further or deeper into the flow. And I've used the analogy before with this card that it's like slipping into our underground stream. That streams, you know, like we've got our life's path. Sometimes I get the craving or the desire to take that deeper and to go to new depths within myself and within my path and my journey. And I sometimes see that as like an underground river that flows under my path but is in fact part of my path. So that river energy is coming through strongly as well with this card, as we're guided to just dive in now Let's stop avoiding whatever our issue is. Let's stop avoiding and let's just dive into this river and see where it wants to take us. I'm going to drum, so just get yourself comfy. The drum picks up very rattly in my microphone, so I'm actually going to pin my microphone away from me, trusting that it will be better for the drum. So if there's a few microphone bumps, just bear with me a second. Oh, the birds are playing. I've just clipped it on the back of my smudge bowl, and I'm going to put it over there, so you might not hear me very loud. I'll bring it back in a minute. So enjoy this. There's nothing that you can do wrong. Isn't this funny? Since when has a microphone been a smudge bowl? Wow. These healing, cleansing words. Okay, there's nothing you can do wrong. At the very least, just listen. But I encourage you to work with the drum and allow it to take you deeper into yourself. Allow it to take you deeper into your feelings, into your river, if that's a good picture or visual for you. The drum may touch you in parts of your body, and that's very normal. So if it does, just let whatever's stirred up come to the surface so you can let it go. So I'm going to put the microphone over here and I'm going to drum. Clearly I'm not going to be talking. Right. thank you. Just bring the microphone back. Thank you. Beautiful energy and really strong healing. I felt lots of love and support coming in and holding us in this vulnerable, sensitive space that some of us are feeling. And while things come to the surface that we're being encouraged to surrender and let go. So this is a great opportunity. Whatever's been triggered, whatever has triggered us, whatever's going on right now is a great opportunity for us to deepen our connection with ourselves and understand ourselves and our life on deeper, more meaningful levels. So let's be careful we're not wanting to run away and avoid whatever is going on, but dive into it and see what we can learn about ourselves. So thank you so much. I trust that you feel a little bit better than you perhaps did when we first connected. So I'm going to grab my healing energy card. That's the one we were just drumming to if you just joined in. Healing Guide. And now I'm going to pull a card. I actually would really love to play the singing bell. Let's play the singing bell first. And then I'm going to pull a card. Well, I'll talk about that later. I'll play the singing bell first. This is my Tibetan singing bell. I've taken the ringer out and holding it this way. And I'm just going to play this to I feel like to help keep the energy vibration nice and high. So as we let go of our baggage, we raise our energy vibration. So let's work with the bell to help it stay raised. So we're not pulled down and up again and go through that yo-yo out of balance sort of space. So take some nice deep breaths and allow the sound of the bell and the energy to fill you up. Fill you up with love, knowing that you do deserve and are worthy of receiving love and kindness and care from others. So feel your heart fill up with love. You are loved. You are love. We all are loved and are love. Okay, so I'm going to pull another healing energy card just as I'm finishing up now. And this healing energy card is going to be, or I'm holding the intention for it to be what we need to know for what's next. So what's next as we go from this video and into our everyday life? What do we need to remember? What do we need to keep in mind? What do we need to know about bringing this that we feel into our life or continuing our healing journey? So that's what I'm looking for. And I'm holding that intention in my heart and mind. Although I'm going to be really focused today, because it's the beginning of Sunday for me, I'm going to be really focused today not to let my mind, my lower mind thoughts take over. I'm going to really focus on staying in my heart and in alignment with how I feel, rather than what I think so much. So the best card for what's next for the majority of us is this here. Ancestral Inspiration card 4. So I'll read this here. This may make sense to some of us. Healing through the cellular levels and or the bloodline. So a lot of stuff that's coming or been triggered up just in this last day or so may have a thread that connects back with our bloodline or back with our family line in the long distant past. And, you know, I'm seeing a pattern with that for me personally as well, that I'd already established 12 hours ago that this was very much connected with my, in my family bloodline. But at the same time, I'm trying not to dwell on that, because I'm really looking or noticing that my mind, and going on a tangent into my past about what happened, which I haven't really cared about. It hadn't really crossed my mind, especially not in the last 10 years, and very rarely before then. So it's not even something I really think about, has been triggered in this last couple of days. So we might find some really old wounds connecting with our family or our bloodline are coming up to the surface right now. So let's be honest with them, be real about what it was, but let it go. Let's not let ourselves hang around in that space for too long. It's long distant past. We can't change anything. All we can do is let go of what's been triggered, the issue that's coming up around it right now. It also says here to let go of the old and move into the new. Meditation and ancient knowledge remembered, and the wheel of life, birth, transitions and endings. So lots of rebirthing, lots of death kind of energy around, if you like, that destructive death energy, which is basically endings, and we're transforming out of that and really beginning to step into our power as we step into our heart and rise up like the phoenix. So this tells us, because this was the intention of what do we need to do next, this is talking about healing and releasing through our family, through our bloodline, and letting that heaviness and darkness from our past go, especially if it's coming to the surface right now. If we just avoid it and make excuses or distract ourselves or try and run away again, it's only going to come up again later. We're just packing it down then. So if it's coming up now, even if it's something we haven't visited for a long, long time, it's coming up now for a reason. So let's look at it through our new eyes, our transformed heart. We've changed so much during that time period, and let's let ourselves let go and let go of that family stuff that's coming up. So an important time of healing right now. So let's remember our healing tools to help ourselves move through this. Let's stay in our heart, be really honest about how we feel. Work with our journal. Journal may be really helpful right now to get the thoughts out of our head so we can see what the issues are, so we can let them go. And, you know, don't forget the things like your healing energy cards, your crystals, your time in nature, your breathing, you know, just coming back to your breathing. To breathe out and let go can really help shift quite deep things. So I trust that this has been an empowering and supportive time for you. Thank you so much for joining me. If anything has been shifted, you might go through a bit of a healing time. So remember to drink lots of water, listen to your body, and be kind and gentle to yourself. So don't be too hard on you as you go through this kind of sensitive, vulnerable, intense kind of time. I feel like it's going to potentially pass quite quickly. So our mind will hold it in place for days and weeks and months and years if we let our mind take over. So as we detach from what our mind is blowing out of proportion and slip into how we feel, I feel we're going to move through this really quite quickly. So support yourself through it as best as you can. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this connection today, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you'd like to connect more privately, just send us a message through our website. If you want to learn more about the work that I do, please visit my website at templeofbalance.com.au. It is the 1st of April. That means I'm resetting my intuitive energy healing service, supportive service. So that'll be back to 4 today, shortly, when I go and change that. So if you want to connect more deeper, that option is there. But I do encourage you to work through your own stuff, especially first. That's all I need to say. So thank you. Sending you lots of love from my heart to yours. Have a fantastic weekend. And namaste. Thank you.